welcome everyone joining us. We're going to have a great conversation today, and I'd just like to thank you for being a part of it. I'm Kristen Lodge, the Director of Development and Communications at the Wenatchee Museum and Cultural Center. I want to welcome you to the Community Multicultural Celebrations Q&A session with two museum affiliates, Fiestas Mexicanas and Mariachi Northwest Festival. Today, we will have a Spanish translation provided by Claris Languages, and we're still waiting for our translator to join. So that should happen momentarily. And when that happens, we'll give you instructions for how you can join that Spanish option on Zoom. We're gathering here today. Our mission at the museum is to engage and educate in the Wenatchee Valley community. We serve as a community forum, a place where people can meet with their neighbors and learn about issues important to our community and discuss their thoughts and opinions. And while we're not able to gather in groups at the museum right now, we are enjoying the opportunity to gather virtually in forums like this until we can be back together again. Our conversation today is in honor of the museum's month-long Martin Luther King Jr. Multicultural Fest Celebration. And we've invited representatives from Fiestas Mexicanas and Mariachi Northwest Festival to join us in a discussion around the rich culture and diversity of some of Wenatchee Valley's biggest, most brightest, wonderful community festivals and celebrations. So I'd like to welcome our panelists. I'd like to welcome Martha Zaldivar, representing Fiestas Mexicanas. Martha, were you able to join us? Good. Oh, hi. Welcome.
I think they're running into audio issues right now. I think that's why. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, while you get that worked out, I'll just do your introduction and we can roll. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. Martha is a community organizer who's made strides to increase the volume of the Latino voice and representation in the state of Washington as the director of Fiestas Mexicanas, one of Wenatchee's biggest yearly events, as well as events across the years. Martha's joined by her son, Wilber Zaldivar, an actor known for his work on Elena of Avalar, The Loud House, and Craig of the Creek. Well, welcome, Wilber. I'd also like to welcome Eddie CortesSolorio, Mariachi Director at Wenatchee High School and Pioneer Middle School. Eddie's the director of Mariachi Northwest Festival. He's been involved in the festival for many years, first as a student and then after graduation as a volunteer, and it's his second year as the director of the festival. I'd also like to welcome my colleague, Mariah Thornock, the museum's Director of Operations and Special Projects. Mariah works closely with our museum affiliates, and I'm looking forward to a great conversation, learning more about Fiestas Mexicanas and Mariachi Northwest Festival, two beautiful community celebrations dedicated to preserving and promoting Latino heritage and culture and traditions. Mariah and I are going to work together to moderate today's session. So we encourage those of you who are joining us via Zoom or Facebook Live to join in the discussion. If you're on Facebook Live, feel free to leave a question in the comments. If you're joining us on Zoom, you can ask questions using Q&A or chat buttons at the bottom of your screen. We'll monitor your questions and do our best to make sure they get answered. But for now, I'll turn it over to Martha and Eddie to tell us a little bit about their organizations and their work. I also want to say that I know Eddie has a time constraint. He has a class that he needs to teach shortly. So let's turn it over to you first, Eddie. Would you like to start by telling us a little bit about Mariachi Northwest Festival?
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you for inviting me. So the Mariachi Northwest Festival is an all-day event where we promote an educational experience for our youth and adults, where we also promote Mexican heritage and cultural traditions. We start with an all-day morning student workshops and culminating to an evening concert. During the event, we offer a ranging number of scholarships from 500 to 5,000 from different colleges around Washington State. I think within the last 4 to 5 years, we've actually awarded over $80,000 in scholarships. Those are to students who participate in our festival and are going off to higher education. We have about 400 to 500 students who participate on a yearly average. and we have about 1,500 and more attendees during our concerts. So it's been a really great experience for our youth here in the community.
Wonderful. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for sharing that with us and for your involvement in that organization and that festival. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you combine and showcase students and professionals in your celebration? That feels like such an amazing opportunity for students who are learning their craft to be able to share the stage with professionals.
Yeah, so during the day, our students have the opportunity to learn 1 to 4 different songs by our professionals who visit us from LA. And so during those workshops, they really get to see how music can also be part of their life after high school. Many of our professionals that come to teach the workshops have second jobs. Some of them are doctors, teachers like myself, who really enjoy mariachi music and continue that. So I think it's a great opportunity for our students to really see that other part of music.
It sounds like it. And I know it has a really interesting, the festival has a really interesting history in our community. Can you tell us a little bit about the history, who started it, why, and how long it's been going on?
Right. So the festival has been around since about 1997, and it was started by Mark Fogelquist. He moved here from Santa Ana, California, and he started the program with 10, 16 students. And it's now grown to over 300 students district-wide. And over the years, we've had great directors who have taken over that big shoes to fill, right? And so that's kind of how our program has started and how the festival has just continued over the years.
That's a beautiful history. I went to school with Mark's daughter, Monica, and really looked up to him. It was such a fun celebration to see that. I was able to see that grow when I was a student, and now it's fun to be back in the community and see those roots are deep. And you're right, big shoes to fill, but it sounds like you're doing a really wonderful job there. Thank you for all you are doing. Can you talk a little bit about how your organization celebrates Mexican heritage?
So I think the festival just brings in a lot of people from around the state. It's just a way to really connect with our culture. Many students join mariachi because they want to keep that tradition, culture going. Many of our students' families are agriculture workers, so I think it really just connects them with their families, friends, and just seeing that around the community really just inspires them to continue.
That's beautiful. I loved looking at our intro slide, had a picture from both festivals, and it made me realize how much I'm missing gathering and missing these types of celebrations. Can you tell us what your plans are for 2021 and what time frame your festival usually takes place in, and if we have hopes of maybe being able to join you this year?
So our festival usually takes place in March. I know last year we started this pandemic, so we had to, cancel our event. We're really hoping that next March of 2022 is when we can really bring back our festival, just make it safe for everyone, our community members. And this year, we're just trying to plan as we hear more information about what's going on right in our community. I'm right now just planning with some of my students just where they see the festival going. I know we're excited to come back in person soon in the next week, and they have great ideas, and I'm hoping to share with those ideas with everyone once we get more closer to next year.
Good. Well, we'll be following you closely, and we'll all be hoping that that is able to take off as planned.
Yes.
And I want to thank you too for being respectful to that health and safety situation. I know those decisions aren't easy, and we're all missing that sense of normal and that sense of community that, that your festival helps inspire. It looks like Martha and Wilber are connected.
Yeah,
so I
we're
just
here.
want to say hello and welcome
Hi,
you.
everybody.
Good,
Hi,
we can hear you.
everyone.
So
Hi, we
we're
can hear
having
you
some,
great. You're all set.
Audio difficulties, but look like we're back. So hi,
You're-
everybody. Can you guys hear us?
We can hear you great. Thanks so
Perfect.
much for joining us. I was hoping that maybe you could tell us a little bit about your festival, Fiestas Mexicanas.
Fiestas, well, the mission of the Fiestas Mexicanas is to bring art, culture, and education to our region. That's our mission. But we also recognize people who had help or had been a leadership in the region that have support our Hispanic community as well. And also we have been given scholarships for students. Usually it's 3 students, it depends on the sponsors, but usually we award 3 students every year.
Sponsors are so important to the museum's success too, and the museum is proud to sponsor as an affiliate these 2 organizations. I wondered, Eddie and Martha, if there's anyone you would like to thank and recognize. I know I never feel like I have the opportunity to share how much we appreciate the community. Is there anyone you would like to recognize in that spirit?
Yeah, I mean,
first one, I think number one, would like to recognize you guys, the museum for all the help that you guys give us.
Well, thank you. I wasn't looking for my own things, but I appreciate that. That's nice.
You know what? Fiestas Mexicanas won't have this success without you guys. I mean, you're elemental for us. You're the primary thing.
The sponsor.
Yeah.
And and we have like Wells Fargo's being one of the main sponsors. Day one, they always are willing to help us, and they are a great sponsor. It's the milk growers is another sponsor too.
Confluence Health.
Confluence Health is another one.
I do not want to miss anyone, but I have Los Dos Amigos from East Wenatchee, Store Los Tres Compadres, Mission Reach, Kashmir Valley Bank, AmeriGroup, Numerica Credit Union, Coordinated Care, Spectrum, Latino Community Fund, Health Alliance, Les Schwab, Ballard Ambulances, and Whitland Bank. Most of them, there are continuous sponsors. Of course, we have other sponsors, but they usually are there to support us.
Eddie, you had started to speak too. Is there anyone that has helped support you as you share your festival with the community?
Yeah, so Town Toyota Center has been great sponsor. Wenatchee School District, Central Washington University has been a great sponsor, giving out over $15,000 in scholarships. Eastern Washington University, Numerica Credit Union, Confluence Health. Let's see, I know I'm missing a few. Washington Trust Bank.
I'm so inspired by our community, and it sounds like both of your festivals, they're the heart of Wenatchee and our Wenatchee Valley community, but it sounds like both have wide-reaching impacts on the state of Washington. And it's fun to think about how you're able to inspire your students to do great works and to become wonderful parts of the communities that they go on to too. So I thank you for sharing that. At the museum, I'm personally just absolutely in awe of the community support that we've received, both from generous individuals and from sponsors. So I wanted to give you the opportunity to share that. Thanks too. Eddie, I know that you need to get to your class pretty soon. Is there anything else you would like to tell us before you need to leave, or anything that you wish that I had asked you about your festival?
Well, I mean, I just want to encourage anyone, once we get back to, a little bit normal things, to really visit our festival once we have it. It's open to all ages, not just our youth. We always have some adults join as well. And not only is it just for mariachi instruments, there's also folklorico classes. So you don't have to play an instrument, you can also join and dance. So it's a great experience, I think, for anyone.
Thinking about that gives me a little bit of stage fright, even just even just to imagine that. Mariah, I interrupted. What were you going to say?
I had a quick question before you go. I know some things have come up since we've been on the pandemic where either myself or my kids have missed getting to see you guys perform. Mariachi, we go to the festival, but you're also a part of a lot of museum events from the Multicultural Fest and to Day of the Dead. If we are needing to get, Wenatchee or any of the area mariachis in our lives for just a little bit, do you guys post that on a Facebook page or YouTube, or where can people go to get back into the spirit of the festival until they can go again?
Yeah, so we have our Mariachi Northwest Festival Facebook page. And, once we get more guidance from, I think, our community leaders, our healthcare leaders, we'll definitely be sharing more on that. So yeah, just keep an eye out for our Facebook page, Mariachi Northwest Festival.
And I'm sure you have lots of videos of old performances on there that we could go and check out, huh?
Both our Mariachi Northwest Festival and our WHS Mariachi Facebook page.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Hey, we just want to say, yeah, hey, congratulations. We heard you doing a fantastic job, coordinating Mariachi, Wenatchee, I know it's a lot of work, and we're hearing great things. You being a young kid, is doing incredible for the Wenatchee, mariachi. So we'll be supporting you all the time. We love mariachi.
Anytime.
And anytime, you can count with us.
Thank you.
Reach to us, and we'll be willing to help you. And
thank you.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. I'll keep going, but we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks,
Okay.
Eddie. Good luck with your
Okay.
class.
Thank you.
Good. So with Eddie signing off to his class, I'd love to turn the conversation a bit more to Fiestas Mexicanas. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of your festival and how it celebrates the lifestyle and the people of Mexico, maybe how it's celebrated in other cultures as well as our own?
Fiestas Mexicanas celebrate the independence of Mexico, that's pretty much what we celebrate, the dates that we do it. And as, our idea is to bring it to, to everybody here in Wenatchee so they can learn a little bit and don't lose those beautiful, tradition celebrations that we do in Mexico. Yeah, and Wilber will tell you guys a little bit of Wilber Jr. I call him senior because he's taller than me. So he's
Of course. And Fiestas Mexicanas isn't also just exclusively to just Mexico, because it celebrates not just the Day of Independence of Mexico, but the Independence Day of a bunch of other Central and Latin American countries is the day before Mexican Independence Day. They're all sort of grouped together, so that's why the event is sort of, as it spans like 2 days, it's able to celebrate both of those, sort of those areas. And as an example, like my dad, he's from El Salvador, and so like my grandma there, she owns the restaurant Tropical Salvadorian, and so her booth is there, and there are lots of booths there that are not just Mexican. It's sort of just an encapsulation of Latin American independence as a whole.
That's beautiful. And what's better than a 1-day celebration, a 2-day celebration?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So in our community, I know this is celebrated, you had said, through arts and culture and education and performance and food and, all sorts of wonderful things that we're all really missing right now. What about in other places in the world, in other Latino cultures and places? How is it celebrated there? Is it similar? Have you taken a piece of those celebrations and brought it to our own community?
Well, in Mexico, it's a huge celebration. We always have a parade, so it's a huge parade. Basically all the schools, elementaries, middle schools, high schools participate. So it's a huge parade, and we also have food and what else?
And similar to Apple Blossom, which is the Apple Blossom Parade. that's pretty much, you know, the biggest is in Mexico City, where the president of the in Mexico, you know, he goes and cheers and says, you know, for independence, you know, for heroes and for, and then so there's thousands and thousands of people who get together down in Mexico City, which is El Zócalo, and it's huge. It's something big for the.
And it celebrates at 12 at night. So that's when we celebrated. But of course, we started the party before and after.
That's why, you know, when the president was going to say, you know, like, Viva Mexico, Viva the heroes for patriot, Viva, you know, that's kind of what the way they do it. It's just something, you know, amazing that, you know, like Mexicans, but like Will was saying, you know, it's more Latinos, you know, like Central
It's like
America.
a general thing, just like you see the whole part of the world, just everyone's sort of just, you know, loud and the parties and then the food and the parades and everything.
I love how you're describing this. It's making me really heartsick missing these types of festivals, right? The energy and enthusiasm that just comes from that ability for us to gather and celebrate together. Can you tell us about your festival's plans for this year, for 2021?
Well, we are kind of stuck right now. We're waiting for news about, you know, the phases that we're living right now. But it will be our idea to have to celebrate the festival in September, probably the second week of September, and have the entertainment, food, the sponsors. I really believe that the sponsors are ready. They are ready. They are you know, always supporting. So we're just waiting for good news, and hopefully we can make it happen this year.
Yeah, it looks
We
like,
will
you
be
know,
keeping our fingers crossed for you.
Yes.
yeah, because, you know, in the past we're having, you know, a good turnout from people. Like last year, I think we have, no, the year before, because last year didn't have it. The year before, I think we had like, what, 10,000 to 11,000 people that came over, you know, during the 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's huge. And it looks like if this year we go back to normal life again, you know, we may get a lot of more people, because it looks like people will be very enthusiastic to go out and do things and, you know, live a normal life again. Yeah, so
and I should mention that all the people, the committee and everybody who help us is always volunteering. I mean, it's just they're giving their time, and we have had very good members that I would like to mention, that is Ale and Eddie Gonzalez and Mari and
Alejandro Guerra
and Alex Guerra and Misael Guerra. But we still have a good relationship, and they are always willing to help. But, you know, changes and
it's volunteer, you know, like all we do is volunteer. You know, I was not part of it, and my wife, you know, was like busy and doing the event, and then you got to do this, you got to do that. So she's making me part of it, you know, like. But like, okay, you know, I'll help. And
we call that voluntold in my family.
Yeah.
And my husband gets that a lot too.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, you know, you get the kids too and everybody. So yeah, I just help it. And it's fun, you know, it's fun.
Well, I love it. I can tell, you know, your whole family unit is there and here represented today. And I can tell the passion and the you know, dedication that you have to it. I'm so glad that you thank your volunteers, because it does. It takes a village, doesn't it? I wanted to turn the conversation a little bit to Mariah. I was hoping that maybe you could share some information on the museum's affiliate program, on the mission and purpose. I'm really inspired about hearing about Fiestas Mexicanas, and we have other affiliates that help us accomplish our mission at the museum.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. I love our affiliate program. It's something I'm really proud of that we do at the museum. I think that you guys ended on a great note, that it is all volunteer, and I think you didn't tout that enough. If I believe you're right, if I'm right, last year was the 20th anniversary of Fiestas Mexicanas. Is that correct?
Yes. Correct.
Yes.
Oh yes. I mean, these are groups of volunteers who have been in it for the long haul. They have, you know, while we've maybe seen different staff at the museum, they've kept these programs strong and going for over 20 years now. So, but the museum has the mission of the museum is to support art, history, and culture within the Wenatchee Valley. And we try to do that several different ways. People come to our exhibits, they come to our programs, but one of the other important components we have is to support activities that are related to our mission throughout the community. This program started, it's actually the formal name for it is a fiscal sponsorship program. And so we fiscally sponsor these different organizations who then become affiliated with the museum through that fiscal sponsorship. And this started actually in the 1980s with the Wenatchee Riverfront Railroad, and has over the years taken in quite a number of different affiliates. Some of the affiliates have run their course. They were project based and the project was over. Others have turned into their own nonprofit organizations, and some have remained a very close partner with the museum. The Fiestas Mexicanas is one of those, as well as Mariachi Northwest. Our role as a fiscal agent is to support the administrative and fiscal side, bookkeeping side of these organizations. We don't play a programming role within that. We know about their programs, we know about their organizations, they apply to us, and we make sure that they align well with our mission. We make sure that they have a good, strong committee structure and volunteer structure, so that way they're able to undertake the activities. And we really believe that they are the best suited people to be able to do that. They're the people with the passion behind this, the education, the understanding, and in order to make sure that these festivals, these activities, these programs are carried off in a thoughtful and a respectful manner, it's best to let the volunteers lead those activities and have us take the administrative burden off of their shoulders. It helps when you have volunteers that do due diligence, and all of these affiliates are in great standing with us and make sure that they keep close connection with us, and so we feel really confident and comfortable in our partnership with them.
Thank you, Mariah. It's fun to hear about this affiliate program, and I'm excited about this opportunity for the museum to be able to extend their mission into the community with local experts to work alongside you. Wilber, please go ahead.
I just wanted to put a plug in for anybody out there who's listening. One of the benefits that we provide for these organizations, because they're affiliated with us, is that they are underneath our tax umbrella. So when you donate to organizations like Fiestas Mexicanas and Mariachi Northwest, you know that you're donating to an organization where your donation is tax deductible, your donation is being overseen and has a lot of oversight on how that's used. And I have been just really impressed with both of these organizations over the years at how frugal and how fiscally responsible they are. So if you're listening to this today, and you want to contribute and make sure that these are in place when we can get together again, I can say from a museum side of things that this is a fiscally responsible, two fiscally responsible organizations to invest in and donate to.
Thank you, Mariah. That's a really good point. And I know that sponsors and donors are really crucial to the success of these organizations like they are to ours. I was hoping we might turn the conversation to Wilber Jr., or the taller of the two Wilbers. Would you tell us a little bit about your work? And I had wondered if you would be willing to share a tale with us.
Yeah, of course. Well, my work, I guess I'm an actor. I'm an actor in LA. Well, not right at the moment. I'm in Washington right now. I'm back in Wenatchee. I'm in the Valley right now. But I am primarily a voice actor. I've done a lot of voiceover work in Los Angeles on series like Elaine of Avalor, which is like a big one, I know. And that one I really am proud of the work there, just because it is a Latino-based series, and so I'm glad that I was able to like bring a voice to a character that was part of my culture like that. I think that's that
Wilber,
was very
Mariah,
fun.
and I both have little girls at home that are just avid fans of your show. So I have to tell you, we know exactly who you are and are big fans here.
Yeah, mine were a little starstruck, and my youngest one even was trying to be convinced that maybe Elena of Avalar was real because I was going to talk to a real person today.
Yep.
You need to sing a little bit of
Oh, the song.
the bros are back.
Oh, yeah, it's stuff like that. I worked on Craig of the Creek, which is sort of like a Cartoon Network series it's on right now, and The Loud House, which I know is also pretty big. And right now too, specifically lately been working on dubs of Netflix series. They've got like series from Germany or from Spain, and they need people who do the dubs in English. And so I've worked on a couple of those lately, and just general ADR work too, sort of doing additional ADR voices and stuff for stuff like Hotel Pennsylvania 2 and the Pele movie and other various projects like that.
And would you be willing to share something with us? Your mom had suggested that you might be willing to share a traditional folklore story with us.
Yeah. I'd love to. I think that there is a lot of often, I think a lot of Latino stories are overlooked in that way. There's a lot of folklore, a lot of myths that, it's not as concise as something like Greek mythology or Egyptian mythology. Mesoamerican myth hasn't been sort of packaged together as nicely in that way. So it's still difficult to sort of piece things together, all these different interpretations over the years. So I think that's why it's so important for people to, to give them a little bit of a look. And this is one that I really like because, everyone knows the story of the rabbit on the moon. Every culture has its own story because, there's everyone that says there's a rabbit on the moon. And this is the one that is specifically the Aztec version of the story. Once upon a time, the Mexican god Quetzalcoatl decided to explore the world. He turned himself into a mortal man and started his journey. He was amazed about how big and beautiful Earth was. He was so excited that he forgot to feed and hydrate his mortal form. By the end of the trip, he was exhausted and about to faint, so he decided to rest on the side of the road. Suddenly, a small rabbit appeared and approached him. "Are you okay?" the rabbit asked. "No, I'm tired and hungry," the god replied. Without knowing that he was talking to a deity, the rabbit rapidly offered to share his food with Quetzalcoatl. "Thank you, but I don't eat plants," the god told the rabbit. The small furry animal wanted to help the traveler, so after further consideration, he said, "I have nothing else to offer. I am an insignificant creature, and you need to recover your strength. So please eat me and resume your travels." The god, moved by the creature's noble gesture, returned to his godly form and held the rabbit so high that his shape was forever embedded into the moon. He then gently put the rabbit back on the road and told him, "You might be a tiny creature, but from this day on, everyone in the world will remember you as the mighty rabbit on the moon." And that was that.
Thank you for sharing that with us. That was really fun. I had not heard that story before. That was fun to learn from you. Thank you. Well, I'm hoping that you can tell us a little bit more about your festival and maybe fill any holes, any questions that we haven't asked, anything you want to share with us that we haven't that you haven't had the opportunity yet.
Well, as Mariah mentioned, the Fiestas Mexicanas started like 20 years ago. It was first like a little kermesse. It was like a little, little booth.
Kermesse is sort of, like little booths around, just like a little thing.
And we started 12 years ago to be part of to take care of to be in charge of the Fiestas Mexicanas team. I remember that it was former director Brenda Abney who invited us to take charge of the organization, and since then we're still here. We love it. We enjoy it.
I'm very excited to continue. This won't be possible without the museum, without all the sponsors and all our team too. We'll like to make sure our team, as I said, is Alejandra and Eddie Gonzalez, Alejandro and Maria Guerra, Juan Sanchez, we have Gaby Fernandez, Maria Lima. So we got a bunch of, people that help us all the time. And it's a blessing, it's a blessing. Like, it's a lot of work, like the first 2 weeks before the festival, but when we finish, like, we feel accomplished, like, wow.
Oh, absolutely. I
amazing.
think it's sort of, you get stuck in all the hustle and bustle, but I think the payoff of seeing everyone there is incredible. And, I think another big element of the festival is the talent we bring in, not just, we bring in, every year we sort of have like 2 big acts that we bring in from Mexico, two really big people, whether it be, banda, norteño, or just like sort of that sort of music, the music that, we know the people want to hear, because it's very specific styles. And we always make sure to bring in 2 of those big acts, but then just also during the days, we have lots and lots of people from the community. We have the mariachis from around town. We have a lot of, like we have the one choir. We have a lot of various acts that we come in and we bring
even
in.
Ismon and Wenatchee High School cheerleaders, they always participate as well.
That's fun. And it sounds like you have passionate, dedicated volunteers that do this help you, as a labor of love. Are you looking for additional help? If there's people listening that want to help volunteer, are you looking for, are there ways for them to get plugged in?
Definitely. Yeah, it was always, because it's a lot of work. Like we said, it's a lot of work, like the next day we wake up like 5 a.m. to go and clean the park, all the way around, and all the streets around. Want to, keep everybody happy, all the neighbors around. And it's a lot of work, we used to do it like only like 5-6 people, spend pretty much all day cleaning all the park and make it look pretty again. But last year.
No, I mean 2 years ago.
We did have a lot of volunteers come in and help us out. A lot of students, from Eastmont High School, Wenatchee High School, Wenatchee Valley College. So they came to help us, clean up and make everything pretty back again. And so there's always, appreciate the help from everybody.
Do I remember that you've had a location change due to construction too? What do you have your eye on for where you'd be hoping to hold your festival in this year?
Right now I think we spoke to the park last year, and then the stage is still there.
So we can still.
They said we can still do one more year because the stage is still there. So we'll see. We gotta probably get together with them again and see if they're willing to let us do it at the Lincoln Park again this year. That'll be our number one priority, to do it in the Lincoln Park, because people used to go to that place, and there's a lot of people walk from their homes, and so it's like a ideal location.
Yeah, very, very ideal, because it's very easy for the whole community to show up. It's a really nice place to have, and you just hear the music from all around, so it just is, and the food and everything, so it's really easy for everyone to congregate there.
That's been a perfect spot. Well, we'll be hopeful that continues to work for you.
Yes, we are too. Yeah.
Good. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. Is there, before I close, is there anything else you'd like to share with us about the festival or your plans or the community or the celebration?
Just to remember everyone that this is a free community event. So hopefully everyone would like to, go and stop there. We would love to have more and more people attending.
Mm-hmm.
And try, hoping that we can make it happen again this year, and have another great event. And then once again, thank you, Christine. Thank you, Mariah, for all your support and all your help. And I think, without you guys, this Fiestas Mexicanas won't be happening. So yeah, thank you. And we count with you guys for another great event.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your stories and your experiences with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for your time and for your work bringing this multicultural celebration to our community. I'm really missing that right now, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed and
Totally.
back together this year. Yeah.
So I have a question. a little similar to the one that I asked Eddie. We're going to leave you guys today, and it's going to be in the back of people's minds that hopefully this festival is going to be coming up again in September. As we watch and wait for that, where should we go to find out more information about the festival and find out if it's going to be, do you have a website or a Facebook page that we should be keeping in mind?
Our webpage is fiestasmexicanas.net, www.fiestasmexicanas.net. And we also have a Facebook page. It's under Fiestas Mexicanas. Fiestas Mexicanas, you can look for Fiestas Mexicanas Wenatchee, and that is our Facebook page.
Sounds good. So if we go follow that page, we'll get to find out whether or not we get all have a big party in September. Is that right?
Of course.
Wonderful.
We're ready for the fun.
We're so ready for the fun.
Yes.
We are so ready for that. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for,
Thank you.
yes, for helping bring this celebration and this tradition to our community. I think these celebrations, like the one you lead, help make our community just the special place that it is, that we love to live and work and play here. We have events coming up at the museum too for people who are following us. The museum is open by appointment to family units of less than 6. So we would invite people to visit our website at WenatcheeValleyMuseum.org to make an appointment for their family to visit the museum. Right now we have an exhibit celebrating the centennial of women's suffrage titled Raising Our Voice, Empowering Women. And next week, we're inviting local business Ice Visconis to join us for a gelato tasting. This is also in celebration of Multicultural Festival. So we're tasting that Italian treat. It's going to be a chore, but someone's got to do it, right? And we have a fun multicultural craft kit available for families too. It's free, and you can check one out on our website at WenatcheeValleyMuseum.org. So thank you again, Martha and Wilber for joining us today and for sharing your stories.
You remember Wilber Jr., Wilber Sr. I'm Junior, he's Senior.
No, this is amazing. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
doing
Yeah,
this.
thank you so much.
I think it was a great idea to have, this virtual meetings and join, and that's nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You take care.
You too, ladies. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Oh.